All right, folks. Well, I think we're started now. I'm going to get started officially once I know for sure that A, this is working, and B, that you can hear me. Let me just double check here. Okay, microphone seems to be fine. So just waiting to hear from you guys, whether you can see or hear me. I'm here in my hotel room at Sheraton Falls in Buffalo, New York. And I'm at the Gathering of Friends convention. And I'll tell you more once I know that time is working. And it says starting soon here. All right. Fantastic. Well, you can see and hear me, so we'll get started. Before I answer any questions, I thought I would talk a little bit about some of the things that I've seen so far. The Gathering of Friends is a convention that was started by Alan Moon. It's not really a convention. It's really what the name is. It's a gathering of friends. Alan Moon, designer of Ticket to Ride, Union Pacific, etc., got some of his friends together, and now they get together every year. It's an invite-only convention. I was invited many years ago, but never was able to make it. This year is the first year I was able to attend. And there's a lot of people here playing games and things and showing off lots of prototypes. But these are different than your typical prototype convention because most of the prototypes here are actually going to be actual games. And it's interesting because, there's lots of big name designers and publishers here. So it's very interesting as you go around. And I've had a chance to play a few things. I can't talk about everything I played, but I am able to talk about Time Stories. That's coming from Space Cowboys. Space Cowboys has just put out Elysium and Splendor. Well, this one here is a completely different thing. They're calling it a console for board games because essentially you can plug in a different game each time you play it. But in the game I played, which I can't really spoil for you too much, but essentially we went back in time and we were trying to solve some sort of mystery, and we're going around and finding clues and doing things, and we eventually ran out of time and we're sucked back to the future. But then you can go back and try it again, knowing to avoid this place or to not go here, or maybe do something different this time. So that sounds a little bit like Tragedy Looper, but it's not like Tragedy Looper. It's a much different style of game, very role-playing oriented, and needless to say, I was very, very impressed with it and had a lot of fun. So that was one thing I was able to play. Another thing I was able to play was, let's see here. Stephen Glenn taught me his connection game called Loomis. This is a game that's been published by Cosmos. I don't know if anyone's bringing it to America or not. But essentially, you are building a row of your piece across the board before your opponent builds a row of his piece across the board by using cards. And you're drawing cards. Very cool drawing card mechanism. So I'll be doing a full review on this one later, but that's very interesting. By the way, if you want to see the different games and things that I'm playing, follow the our Instagram feed, Dice Tower, and I'll be posting different pictures there. Obviously, I can't post pictures of things I'm not supposed to post pictures of, but if I can post a picture of it, I will do so, and you can see what's going on there. Incidentally, I'll be doing this every day, the Q&A thing, but most of the days, hopefully, I'll have a designer or somebody with me. I've already asked a few of them, and they've said yes. And so I think that would be enjoyable to you guys to be able to talk to designers and ask them questions. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to your questions. I've also played some really garbagey games, but they were the ones I brought from home. All right, so if anyone here has any questions, and I apologize again, there's going to be a video lag or audio lag here probably, but that's because this hotel just isn't, doesn't have the speeds that I have at home. I just heard a dog. That's weird. All right, so Time Stories was the game I was talking about earlier. I don't see any other questions, so that's weird. Not many questions. That's probably because I'm doing this too early in the morning. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can talk about from yesterday. I saw Looping Chewy, which looks ridiculous, but I'll still try to find a thing. So what did I bring to the convention? Well, I brought 28 different games, mostly just games in my review pile. Some of them I think will be quite good, some are not. The one I think of all the ones I'm most interested in playing is probably Brewmasters. So I also brought my copy of Spyfall because Spyfall works everywhere. Let's see here. Will this be at the same time every day? I don't know, and probably not, because just because I get up early in the morning does not mean the people I'm with will. So I don't know, and unfortunately, I won't know when to schedule. I'll schedule when I go to bed each night, which could be quite late. So think about midnight Eastern Standard Time is when I'll schedule next days, and you'll find out then. Unless I run back to the room at some point in the day and have it scheduled, then I'll put one up there. And I don't know if we'll do it here or if I'll be able to do it somewhere else in the hotel and get some. I thought it might be interesting to do this like down in the ballroom, but that might be odd as people come by and make faces in the background. Let's see here. Will we ever get a top 10 for 4 players? Possibly. We've discussed this. The reason we haven't done a top 10 for 4 players is because it would be pretty close to our top 10 games. Have we ever dabbled in authoring our own fiction? A while ago, I started writing a blog that was a fiction-style blog, and it didn't last very long. So no, other than that, I haven't written any fiction. When will you get Xenoshift? That is a good question for Cool Mini or Not. I've seen a couple copies on Tabletop Day, so I'd love to give that one a whirl and show you guys. I will as soon as I can. What do I think about the Tiamat miniature in D&D Attack Wing? Is it worth its price? And even more, do you think it will play well in the game? Well, those big giant miniatures never really play well in games. I don't actually know how much Tiamat's selling for. Well, it's not at Cool... Oh, it's Tiamat. Sorry. I spelled it wrong. Hang on. $45? Oh, no, that's just the miniature. I don't know what the D&D Attack Wing miniature is going to cost, but I'm sure it's quite pricey. So, is it worth its price? I don't know. Those big things are cool, and I might use them every once in a while, but I usually just use normal stuff in a game of Attack Wing. Like, for example, I have the Borg Cube. That's really awesome and cool, but I don't know how often I would play with that in Star Trek Attack Wing. Any new game mechanisms that caught your eye? Well, there was one I like. It's essentially, like I said, Stephen Glenn had it in his game where he had 2 cards. One has a 1 and a 4 on the other side. One has a 2 or a 3 on the other side. And when you draw cards, you pick. Let's say the 1 and the 2 are face up. I can draw 1 card. Then I flip it. Next time I can use that card to draw 4. Or I could draw the two cards and flip that. And then next time I pick the draw cards action, I can draw 3. And I like that idea. It's really cool. We played a partnership game where it was 2-on-2, and it was just a very interesting idea. Let's see here. I have not played Mike Slinker's Apocrypha. By the way, guys, if I don't answer one of your questions, you can ask it again. If I don't answer it the second time, that means I'm not going to answer it. Sorry. Just for various reasons. Who have I been hanging out with? Well, I've been hanging out with pretty much anybody who's willing to sit down at the same table as me. So I got to spend some time with Stephen Glenn. I sat down with the guys from Space Cowboys. I got to sit down with the people from Zoc. I spent time with, a very brief time, talked to Stephen Bonagors. So talked to Matt Leacock and Rob Davius. I spent time with a lot of great folks whose names are all mixed up in my head. Spent some time talking to folks from Asmodee, so just pretty much anybody. And my friend Bob, who's staying in my room. Spent a lot of time with him and got to go to an actual, honest-to-goodness Korean restaurant. Yeah! That was fantastic. All right. Is Stephen Bonagor the Kevin Bacon of gaming? Are you? If not, who is? No, it's not Stephen Bonagor, and it's not me. There was a while where people were saying it was Bruno Faduti because he just had his hands in so many pies. I don't think that's the case anymore. Who would be the Kevin Bacon of gaming? That's a good one. It would have to be somebody who, had... Man, I don't know. That's interesting. Let me think about that one. Will we be doing an Imperial Assault live stream? Well, possibly. Will the podcast go up today? Podcast already went up. Put it up this morning. 4:01. What's a minimum number of boosters to buy for a good set of Dice Masters beyond the actual base set? I would say 25. Because I got 25 packs of D&D and 25 packs of DC when they came out, and that was a really good number to mess around with. Of course, you'll be tempted to buy more, but that's pretty good. What games are you hoping to play? With which people at the gathering? I'm willing to play with anybody. I don't really have any agenda other than the games that I brought. I would like to get in some of the games of Werewolf here. Apparently they have some of the most epic games of Werewolf in the world. They were playing at 10 every night. I didn't go by last night because I was extremely tired. But and I also want to try out 504 from Freedom and Freeze. So that's been in constant play the whole time. And a couple other people have pinned me down and said, will you try this game out? And of course I will. So let's see here. Going to Origins for one day. What should I do for that one day? Well, go to the exhibition hall. Go look at everything there. Play a couple demo games. That's what I would do in one day. I'm kind of stuck where I'm at right now here in Buffalo. I like to get out, but I don't think I can at this point in time. Possibly. I don't know. Email me and ask. All right. Any new abstract strategy games to look out for this year? Well, I already mentioned Loomis from Stephen Glenn. I will also, of course, mention Onitama, coming from the Dice Tower Essentials line, and then, of course, the sequel to the Duke, coming the Jarl, coming from Catalyst Games. What's your favorite party game? Well, probably Time's Up. All right. How old were your kids when you started playing games with them, and can you recommend any games? All my kids were different age when I started playing games with them. I know I started playing games with Melody at 2. I'm not really playing games with Jimmy right now. He's only 1. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not trying to, you must play games. I want it to be something that's more natural as it comes across. Let's see here. What miniatures would you say are essential for X-Wing? I think everything in Wave 1, really. The X-Wings, the Y-Wings, I would get some of the other stuff. Maybe some of the stuff from Wave 2. The A-Wings are fun to play with, and the B-Wings. You really don't need to go beyond that. I mean, of course, if you really like the Millennium Falcon, that's a fun one to get. Get some of the TIE Advanced and stuff. But there's some really cool ships that they've come out with lately, but they're certainly not essential anymore. When transporting your games around from one place to another, what do you find the most efficient method to do so? I use plastic bins. I mean, not when I'm traveling, I just put them all in a suitcase. But for me, plastic bins. I have big Tupperware bins. I try to find ones that are the right shape so I can put 2 of those big square boxes, Ticket to Ride style, on the bottom and stack upwards. But that's I find those the best. I load them up, throw them in the car. When I travel with games, you'll find that I often... let's see here. When I travel with a suitcase, I'll take a rubber band and put it around the game so that the game stays together in the suitcase, and hopefully if they're checked the suitcase, they will not tear it apart. What games are hot at the con? A lot of people are playing Marco Polo. The 504 is in constant play. Other than that, pretty much, I don't know. Everyone seems to be playing all sorts of things. I do want to play the new CGE game. But like I said, I haven't really seen any game that's hot. I'm seeing all sorts of things. Old games, new games, etc. Do I have a favorite print and play game? No, I don't, because I don't play print and play. And I haven't played any of these games people are asking me about. Let's see. Who would you lynch first in a game of Werewolf? Stephen Bonacore. Would you ever think about creating a fellowship of gamers much like the event you are at now? Well, yes, I would, and I did. It's called Dice Tower Con. Really, that was what my plan was, except I don't want to play with just 200 people. I'm not criticizing this at all, but I want to play with 20. That's just me, though. To me, I love huge mega. I love to walk through crowds and say, I know that person, know that person, know that person, know that person, and it still feels intimate, but it's huge. I love it. I like Gen Con. I like this one. I like them all. How interesting in it? Very much. May that they'll show up. We'll see. One Night Resistance. Would I rather play One Night Ultimate Werewolf or playing the Resistance? Talking about universes, I like the Werewolf universe better than the Resistance universe. Although Ted Alspach is here, so maybe I'll get a chance to play that with him. What are a couple of good... Okay. What other things besides gaming do you think you'll do at the gathering? I would like to go see Niagara Falls. I will eat. And I will hang out with people. That's pretty much it. Anything else? Do you have any tips? Guide for combining the D&D board games? I don't. I just mix everything together. Well, no, I mean, I mix the monsters, the treasure cards together, and encounter cards together, and then just pick a scenario. What's the best way to game? I don't know. It takes me a while when I set them up. How's the introduction for new game series coming? Two of them we did in terms explained, and then the second board gaming terms explained. I might do another one where we talk about genres, but I think that might be good enough. I don't know. I might make it another straight video. We'll see. But those start. Is there any chance of getting a Twilight Imperium 3 stream? No. What's the new CEG game? I forget the name of it. I saw it, and then I forgot. I've not played Marco Polo. If I was going to buy all the expansions for one of two games, would I pick Memoir 44 or Command & Colors Ancients? That's really tough. I'd probably say Memoir 44, but that's a close one. After your love of the Tuscany expansion, have you checked out the Euphoria expansion forums on Board Game Geek? No, I haven't. I don't even know what that question means. All right. Let's see. Best sci-fi game at the moment. Well, I did a top 10 sci-fi, so you can see there. What do you think of the new Game Finder app? It sounds interesting, but I don't know much more about it other than that. Do you plan to have any more women in your board game breakfast show? Sure. Anyone in mind? No. Okay, guys. I keep saying this time and time again. People say, have more women on the show. And I would say, I'd love to. Contact me. Let me know. That's how everyone who's on my show are people who have told me they want to be on the show. If more women want to be on the show, I will love to. So it's not up to me to go hunt down people, really. I think that let them come to me. I mean, I always hate when people say, why are there more women on the show? I would love to have them on. It's just that I haven't contacted me. And if more contact me, I will gladly put them on. Z was more fortunate than I am. Very pleased about that. I would love to have more. Have them contact me. Have I played Stockpile yet? No, but it's in my stockpile of games. Actually, I'm trying. It's on my pile to play today. I hope to play it today. How to be a good overlord in Descent? I'll have to try that one out. Go to Duff's? I plan to. Let's see here. Mike Selinker did a list of 100 games you absolutely positively must know how to play. I don't know where that list is. I'll have to... 1 second. Oh, he did a video at PAX East. Well, that's fine. I mean, it's going to be... He said it's not the list of 100 best games. It's not the list of 100 fun games. It's a list of 100 games that if your friend walked up and said, I've never played it, you said, we have to fix that right now. So it's just a mix of all different things. Well, that's just going to be very subjective. I mean, some of the games in the list I completely agree with, and some of the games I would probably completely disagree with, but it's not that big of a deal. What kind of... Let's see. How do you find interesting Kickstarters that you want to support? Are there any you're excited about right now? Well, what I do is I use KickTrack and then I always sort KickTrack by the latest Kickstarters and I look at them every 2 or 3 days. I don't check every day for Kickstarter stuff. Kickstarter that's like blowing my mind. There's a lot of interesting ones out there. I think the one I'm most interested in, is treasure chests from Stonemaier Games. Very intrigued with those. Game Kickstarters is interesting, but they're next to me. They are often not as interesting on the way out. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But I refuse to get super excited about them until they come out, and then I'll just play them there. As for ways to buff up your game and extra game components and stuff, that I'm always excited about. Favorite sitcom ever? Community? I don't know. Sitcom? Everyone Loves Raymond? I don't know. What are your thoughts on Alien Frontiers Outer Belt expansion? I've not played that one yet. What's my favorite LCG game from Fantasy Flight? I have not played all of them. So, game-wise, I want to say probably the Warhammer Fantasy one is my favorite, actually, just by sheer game. I think I'm right on that, unless there's one I'm missing. I mean, Android's pretty good. I don't know. With the increasing popularity of games and the publishing of titles such as Cards Against Humanity and Legendary Encounters, do you think board game publishers should look to a rating system? I don't know that a rating system's necessary, because how would you rate games? I mean, obviously Cards Against Humanity isn't obviously rated for mature and adults, and Legendary Encounters maybe more so because of the graphics and violence on it. I think it's up to the publisher to put the proper things on the box, like the things. I mean, there already is a rating system where they put age in the box. That's probably good enough. Do you ever go to board game cafes? Yes, when I go to towns that have them. Do you think there's a future in them? Yes, I think there is. What advice would you give to a first-time Gen Con attendee? Have fun. Try to see a lot of things. Don't schedule yourself up too much, but scheduling one thing wouldn't hurt that badly. Do you love to play games or love to present on the channel more? I like them both equally. How's that? What do I think about the newest edition of Tumbling Dice? I don't know. It sounds great. I think that the expansion for it, man, whoever thought that up was brilliant. What's your thoughts on Bibimbap? It's amazing. In fact, I'm thinking about going to eat it today. Probably not, but... make a funny face, folks. The face I have is funny enough. When will the Dice Tower Kickstarter items be on their way? As soon as we get them all. Almost all of them are here, but we're still waiting on 3 or 4 of the promos that were delayed because of the West Coast shipping thing. As soon as they come in, the stuff will be shipped. Much of it is already here, but we have to wait until we have all of it, unfortunately, because we ship partially. The shipping costs go through the roof. I promise you I'm working on it as fast as I can. Other than games and families. No. I have church, game, and family, and that's pretty much all I do. Every once in a while, I'll take a break and do something silly, like I'll play a video game or something, but I don't have a lot of extra time. You guys can see this here, because it's really, on my end, the video keeps doing all things. Question do you want to ask that I'd ever ask you guys collectively, unless I had a poll or something? Do you have suggestions for helping people get into more complicated in-depth games? I tried playing Arkham Horror with friends and it didn't go over well, and goes by and get more into each game. But I don't know that would throw people over the bridge into... let's see here. Have you ever played role-playing? I played Pathfinder. I've played D&D 3.5. I played Heroes Unlimited, and I played an old Dragonlance one, which I forget the name of it. But and I love role-playing games, really, the idea of them. I just don't have a lot of time to do it. When will I hire Jason? I can never afford Jason. For what he does at his current job, working for the TV station and stuff, yeah. All my buddies currently seem employed at Dice Tower. No, not really. I have tons of friends. I can't hire them all. I'd love to, but let's see here. What's my favorite co-op game right now? Well, that would be spoilers. Next week, 1 week from today, episode 402 will be posted, in which we give our top 10 co-op games. Blame in the hotel this time. All right, let's see here. Have you tried the new edition of Evolution? It looks good. I haven't played second edition, but I played the first edition, and I thought that was fine. Do you ever get burned out teaching games and just want to play them? I know this is going to sound weird, but I actually like teaching better than playing by a mile. When someone else teaches me a game, it's fine, but I like being the teacher. I don't know why. Did you make your animal-themed Summoner War deck? Yeah, I have made one, and what animals did you use? I definitely use gorillas. I use the guys riding lions. I use the lionesses. I use the rhinos and the elephant. I think I used a little bit of every animal, actually. Is there any chance of you playing a game with Rodney Smith on video? The bits and pieces we saw from Gamble would be funny. It'd be a start of a nice... Rodney is the nicest guy ever, but when we play games, we're there. It's a lot of fun, but I mean, I don't know. We'd have to video and everything, and that might be possible, but we'd have to be at a convention where we're videoing it and stuff. I don't know. It'd be fun, but it'd be difficult. Do you have a 5-year plan for the Dice Tower? I don't. I only ever have like a 1 or 2 year plan for the Dice Tower because I'm always wanting to change things. I'm always wanting to say, what are we going to do differently this year from last year? Obviously, having Z come on, so I say, okay, how is that going to change things? I plan my conventions a year ahead. Then I say, okay, now what can we do right now? What's different? So right now, like I'm working on making our Instagram feed interesting to watch. That's something I'm trying to think about. I'm trying to think about what can we, how's Board Game Blender fitting into the show? Okay, now is there another show that we might be able to slide in eventually? What can we do in that regard? And so those are things I think about. Long range is difficult because I don't know what new technologies are around the corner and things. But from the Dice Tower be at the UK Games Expo, I don't think so, which is unfortunate because we really need to get a representative. I'd like to come out there at some point. I heard it's a good convention to come to. What do you think of the new Super Dungeon Explorer Forgotten King? I have not played that yet. Do you find that the more games you play, the easier it is to learn the new games? That's definite, all right? Oh, I get it, because it's just like this game over here. I really think that helps a lot. If you're absolutely forced to choose co-op or competitive, well, if we look at my favorite games, I have more competitive than I have co-op, so I guess competitive. But that's if you're forced to choose question, whatever. Which of the top 10 videos would you like to revisit? The top 10 essential games, but we will revisit some of these, but it's like 4 or 5 years. The world waits with bated breath to learn which game is Z's favorite co-op. No, episode 402, the Dice Tower audio, is me and Eric Summerer. If you want our top 10 list from me, Sam, and Z, that's coming this Thursday, and that's going to be top 10 good games that cause us stress. That's interesting. And what's really interesting is that 2 people have the exact same game at the exact same position for 2 different reasons, which I thought was really fascinating. Have you ever received or played a board game knockoff? Yes. It's your birthday? Happy birthday. My birthday is September 8th. I will be turning 30 coming next year. What cities in the world do you still want to visit? Well, I would love to go visit lots of cities in Europe. I would love to go to Moscow. I would love to go to, let's see, I don't believe I've been to Tokyo yet. No, I haven't. Haven't been to Hong Kong. I would like to go to lots of cities in Australia. At some point, I will try to do a world trip, I think, with my wife. Have you been using Sirenscape a bit? I have I'll be doing a review of that eventually, and I do like Sirenscape a lot. I think it's... Have you ever been asked to go on the Geek and Century's tabletop show? No, I feel pretty confident they don't know I exist. I've never had really any communication with them other than the one time where me and Jason went out and played games with Will Wheaton and Jorge Garcia and Rich Sommer. Only had with them. Other than, I apologize, I also did a vlog section, and we did like a trick attack wing. What will Sam's involvement be going forward? We're still working on exactly how that's going to be, but you'll see some more reviews from him. He'll also be doing some more behind-the-scenes stuff, but you'll also see him more in front of the camera, too. Do you know what your personality type is? Well, I know that the first letter is an E. But I forget what the rest of the rest are times, and I forget, though. So you guys already made the... Eric is doing his top 100, I think, and so is Jason. I don't know what other top 100s. If I didn't do one, that would feel weird, because I've done one for like 6, 7 years now. And Mel... I don't know. That's still a little bit far off in the future, although Jason's top 100 may be coming soon. I told him to get that ready. We'll be recording that. You'll probably see that come out in May or such. Do you still like Dice Masters as much as you did at first? Yes. Are you developing a game? Probably not right now. I'm working on an expansion for a game. Any comments about Disc Wars? I still think the game is fine. I actually still own my copy of it. I was hoping there'd be more, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Now that Summoner Wars Alliances has been out a while, which alliance is your favorite? Which alliance is my favorite? Didn't I mention that in my video? I think I did. I forget off the top of my head. I want to say maybe the Bender one, but I don't remember. I'm going to be doing my top 10 factions soon. So keep an eye out for that. This week I'm doing top 10 stuff from Smash Up. That's coming out Friday, I believe. Let's see here. And by the way, folks, I'm going to go a little bit less than an hour today because, well, I want to get down and play some more games. And I think these would be more interesting if we had somebody with me doing these too. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Wizards of the Coast HeroScape knockoff? Knockoff? It's not a knockoff. I played it. It's a evolution of the game. Knockoff is such a very strong word. A knockoff, listen, a knockoff is when you take something and you make something that's pretty much exactly the same, and it's usually inferior. That is not what happens in gaming. In gaming, people take stuff from one game and put it to another, and usually try to make it interesting. Doesn't always work. But I think the people throw around knockoff because they have this like attachment to the original game. Like, oh, please don't say anything bad about my favorite game. This game it's just a knockoff. No, it might be a better game. Let them do that. Should people be forced to come up with completely new mechanisms? It's just not going to happen. Besides, anyway, it's great. Super fun. The game. Other than typical networking at conventions, is volunteering and or being a game teacher for companies a good way to get into the board game business? Well, I mean, we actually talk about that on our show that went up today, just an hour or so ago. But that's the best way I can talk about it. I'm very cautious when people are like, I want to get into the board game business. Well, what do you mean by that? Yeah, I think you should be more focused. What do you want to do? Do you want to sell things? Because you could sell all sorts of things. Do you want to design games? Well, I wouldn't recommend that as a job. I would start doing it as a hobby first. Am I excited about the new 5 Tribes expansion? No. I wasn't as big of a fan of 5 Tribes as Z was. But let's see. Do you know how many languages other than English are represented by Dice Tower contributors? No, but I was really fascinated. Yesterday we were playing a Russian game, and I was going through the English rules, and a lady came by and said, well, let me, I can help you guys. And so she was able to read the Russian rules, and I said, how many languages do you know? And she's like, well, I can only really speak 5, but I could read 9. And I was like, just blew my mind that someone knew that many languages. I don't know how many languages are on our show. I'll say 7. What impact do you see iOS and other technologies have on board games? I think they're making the board games grow because people are playing digital Settlers of Catan, and then they're saying, maybe the actual game itself is fantastic. Yay, I'm almost to 100,000. Oh, subscribers. Yeah, I'm keeping track of that, I guess. I'm actually more interested. We're about to, in the next month or two, we're going to hit 50 million views, which is cool. 50 million reviews. I don't think so, although people say that. Did I see the review of Nothing Personal from Bruno Feduti? I did see that. That was very nice of him to say those things about me. When will we see the top 10 Sentinels? That's coming, one game at a time. Have I watched Daredevil? I haven't had time to watch it yet, but I've heard it's good. Review the game that goes to your collection. Do you get rid of another game to keep your collection the same size? I definitely do that. Tracking down? Possibly. Is there a chance to review one day? Probably not, because I finally got rid of my copy. I love it. I think it's a great game, but the fact is I'm just never going to get it played much, so another game took its spot. Are you going to do a review on a Merchants event? That is another game that's on my pile to be played today. Is your custom face game available? download. It's cow, and there's links to it at Board Game Geek, but I forget where those are. I don't have time to hunt them down right now. But if you look under faces, look under place, I think an Arts Cow Geek list where they have all the different files, and you can find them there. My thoughts on changing the slave cards in 5 tribes for viziers. This is like a third rail of board gaming, right? Slavery is wrong. So is murder. So is many things that we portray in board gaming. I know that I would design a game about slaves. I don't know that I would design a game with slaves in it. But I have designed a game where people wipe others out through mob hits, where people are robbing banks, essentially, and things. And I consider those to be wrong, too, in real life. So I don't know that they need it to remove the slave cards. The fact that they did is fine. I don't have a problem with that either. I do find it odd that people are really have a lot of problems with the slaves, and yet in the exact same game where assassinations occur, they don't seem to have a problem with that. That seems odd, and I wonder if it's an American thing because the slavery thing is such a hot topic. It's such a cultural shame in a sense to our nation. So possibly that's it. So in the long run, I find the whole thing interesting, but I don't have any strong opinions on it one way or the other. I will say that it's when you watch the debates online, people will shout them down with sometimes very illogical arguments, but on both sides is what I'm saying. But it is what it is. When will Spectre apps hit the shelves? Very soon. Do you watch Doctor Who? Yes! Although I haven't watched any of the Peter Capaldi Doctor Who's yet, because I usually wait till they come online to watch them. Yet. But when I do, I will. My kids really like it. When you talk about nothing personal expansions, you seem kind of sad. Did it not turn out how you hoped? Well, I had hoped that they would be out by now. So I'm assuming they're coming out this year. But I'm no longer involved in that process with those expansions. It is now completely a Game Sleuth thing. So they would know more about that than myself. What's my favorite Kemet strategy? Red, white, blue, or balanced? Red, man! Attack! Although black is coming now soon, so that's very interesting. My favorite cards? The Scorpion. Love the Scorpion guy. I love anything that lets you bring one of those monsters and play. Sorry, guys. Second wave Star Wars Armada ships. Any thoughts? I think they look great. The Imperial Star Destroyer is possibly my favorite sci-fi ship ever. It's amazing. And I think it's cool that you can buy one pack. You know, we talk about the price for Armada, and it is expensive, right? But one pack for $20 that has the Millennium Falcon and Boba Fett ship and IG-88 ship and all that stuff in it. I think that's really cool. Am I excited about Ghostbusters? I'm hopeful that it's a good game. But I'm not excited. But I'm hopeful. What would you recommend as a Tannhauser replacement now that's been discontinued? Well, I think Star Wars. But the Star Wars Imperial Assault, playing it the tactical way. Watch our live playthrough. It has a good same feeling for me there. What's a better two-player game? Jaipur or Targi? Ooh, that's tough. Targi at the moment. But that could easily go back to Jaipur. They're both great. Who would win an eating contest, Z or Sam? I can tell you the answer to that would be Tom. I can out-eat both of them under the table. But I don't know why that matters. You said you love Dice Masters. How do you keep it fresh when playing with people who play competitively? I don't play with people who play competitively, period, except Jason. I just play for the fun of it with most everybody. Let's see here. Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek or Star Wars, movies or TV? Well, movies, Star Wars. For the TV show, probably Star Trek. Battlestar Galactica I enjoyed, but it was too dark, and they left a lot of plot lines. They did the Lost thing where they introduced these like plot lines. I was like, ooh, how is that going to be? They're going to reveal the final 5 Cylons. They're going to show why these dreams are so important, and it didn't mean anything. Some of the stuff, some of the payoffs were great, some were not. Well, you know what? It looks like I'm almost caught up on questions, so I think this is a good spot to end. We've done 40 minutes, and I apologize that it's not longer, but like I said, I'm doing one of these every day this week, and I will try to have some people with me starting tomorrow. Monikor said that he is going to do it with me. Mike Fitzgerald will do one with me, and I have a couple other people in mind who I think you guys will enjoy. So until next time, guys, I thank you for watching the live show. Again, I apologize about the buffering and things of that, but I hope you have a good time today, a great day, and until next time, you've been watching The Dice Tower.